here. So in the schedule, so we're done here with problem 2. We're going to jump into problem 3, and then you're going to be dealing with a lot more content now. So you're going to have more work days between due dates. So we don't have another one due for a while, but please, learn lessons from this project. If you waited too long, if you didn't work on it in class, like hopefully you saw where that caught up with you. And take advantage of your class time early of asking me questions and getting feedback and collecting fonts and all that kind of stuff. So this will be the last like new project we work on. And then this problem 4 will be opportunities to resubmit things, but for higher grades or more feedback. But yeah, this is kind of where we're going with problem 3 now. So let's see. So let's jump into problem 3, which is going to be a lot about Paul Rand, a famous designer. And let me open this up now to make sure. See, it says I'm subscribed, so I should get notes when y'all ask questions on this page here. But what we're going to be looking at is multiple page layouts and composition. So like all the other projects, there are a bunch of InDesign tutorials here to get you started. If there's something that you want to do, I would first suggest asking one of your classmates or going to YouTube. YouTube's full of great information. Usually what I do is, I'll I don't know, InDesign text wrap. And, I usually try to find whatever the latest video is. You can film it. See here, we've got a video that's 3 years old. So, text wrap is a function that's been around for a really long time. So any video would probably get you there. But I always like to view it by upload date just to make sure I'm dealing. But then you get like a lot of irrelevant stuff. So it doesn't always work, but yeah, this is just what I do, and I would recommend everybody else. Like, I'm going to be doing this type of stuff for the rest of my career of just YouTubing how something works. Okay, so a bunch of videos there for you to watch, and some of them have like text and reading with it. So yeah, like take a look at them, read through all of it, do all the steps. So this is what we're building time for. There's so much time there to do this on your own time, and then also in class, like make sure you're reviewing all this information. And then you can download the template here as well as the Paul Rand images. So let me download that, and then one second. Tidy up things. Okay. And then I also downloaded the Rand images. So then, let's see how I want to show this. Okay, so then you can see in my downloads, I've got the InDesign file here, and then the images. Double click that to open it, and there'll be images of Paul Rand here that you can look at, and then new Rand book images, and these should correspond to the different topics within the text. This is kind of the text is Paul Rand talking about working with students and all kinds of different strategies for designing. So So you'll download those things. And then as you read through the text, there'll be references to, well, there's references that like he makes that are marked in the back of the book. You see the number 2 here. The, oh, where is it at? There it is. This looks like it's actually the letter I, not a 1. So there we go. There's a mistake, but be looking for those kind of mistakes. Let's see, I'm gonna write that down. So what you're going to want to do is read through the text. These kind of references are going to be to the end of the book here, like traditional academic references, right? But then there's also going to be references in the text here, like the letter R, which will correspond to the letter R in here. And there's 2 options. There. Does that make sense? So what you're going to be doing is reading the text, making sure you understand it, and then composing the images and the text in a booklet. And so we've got that information here. Where are we at? Okay, so now you've got the tutorial videos that we've had for every problem where Matthew Gaynor will, you watch these videos, watch this one here, you know, and see how he suggests working through this problem. And okay, so then, so yeah, you'll watch these videos where he works through the problem. You know, just like always, ignore any out-of-date Canvas pages. You don't have to delete the letters corresponding to the images. You may find them useful in communicating. So ignore old Canvas pages. Also, it looks like, yeah, so we haven't dealt yet with paragraph styles, even though I think I've already introduced them to you. But the, so these are paragraph styles and then these are character styles. And you can find those windows up in Windows, Type, and then, wait, no, Windows Style, and there's character style and paragraph style. But styles are pretty cool, like especially for booklets like this, because you can make large changes. Like say you came to class and I was like, hey, your image references are humongous compared to your text. Like they super stand out. Can you make those smaller? So we could select this image right here and, oh, there's no style developed for it. So that's not helpful. All right, let's see, is there a headline style? Nope. Okay. All right, so with the character styles and the paragraph styles, let's see, you see how it has a plus sign right here at the end of it? That's saying there's something wrong, like something incorrectly styled with what you did. So if I hold Option and then click it, it'll reset it. So what was it? It was,
Is Option Control for?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay, so the original paragraph indent style was with Helvetica Nuo T1, which I don't have installed on this computer. So everything was changed to this active grotesque. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a quick little run through of paragraph styles because I'm not happy with how this file was prepared. Okay, let's delete this and I'll replace it. Well, actually is, let's see. Okay. All right. So I'm going to change this all. Well, okay. So I'm going to delete this paragraph style here, and you can say delete style and replace it with paragraph indent. Okay, so now everything has this, and I'm going to rename this just body, like for the basic body style. And I'm going to get rid of that indent because I don't like it. I think it's disruptive.
Can I
So
ask one question?
yes,
So is this basically like the preset for things that you can just change,
mhm.
keep the consistency?
Yeah. So now let's say all of this is body. Now we see how it changed it a little bit stylistically. Now I want a little more space between those paragraphs, let's say. Here, I'm going to select everything and hit Command A to get all of it. And I'm going to change all of it to body. And you see it gave me that plus sign, so I'm going to hit Option, hit it again. Now everything is that body style, including, well, actually, let's see. Okay, so you remember how big and bold the image references were before? Now they're gone, like everything is wiped. So I would encourage everybody to do that with this document because the paragraph styles weren't set up correctly. Okay, so then I need to come over here and see if any of these are still, okay, it looks like that one's still being used. Looks like that one's still being used. We're gonna clean this up a little bit right now. Okay, the hyperlink wasn't being used. Emphasize wasn't being used. Was the subhead being used? Okay, no, all right. So it looks like now within, so we see how, well, okay, yeah. So now remember how I made everything this body style? Well, but when we zoom in here, this is still bold, right? So that's a character style. It's being this subhead thing. So if I selected this word and then made it subhead, that's what it'll make it. Does that make sense? So the character style can nest within the paragraph style. So I don't like the way that is built. So I'm going to get rid of this and I'll show you why. Don't preserve it.
Are you going to update the files that are on Canvas, or do you want us to do this personally, like how we want?
Do it personally.
So we can do whatever font or like a similar font, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it yourself. I'm just showing you through how I would think about it, but this will be, I want you all to have this experience. So, okay, so I've now I believe this little number 1 right here is, yep, footnote style. So, but we see the whole paragraph here, well, all of our document is body paragraph style. But when you get down here, this footnote is footnote style. So let's, just for the sake of, just for the sake of showing how this works, I'm going to go down now. Character styles are a little more limited with your options, whereas paragraph styles are more robust. But I'm going to make this pink just so I can identify all of them. Okay, there we go, right? So remember this one here we know is not styled, so we can make it footnote style. Does that make sense? It made it a superscript in pink, and we probably don't want to keep it pink, but I'm just doing that to help me navigate. So you'll go through, make sure all of your footnote styles are correct. I'm also going to delete this text because I don't think that's, well, actually, let's figure out where text is, because I think it's incorrect. Okay, yeah, it's not being used anywhere. That's just a, so I'm going to delete this one. So what you'll have is, right now you'll have your body copy and then your footnote style. And let's change that footnote style back to black. Okay. So now we want probably like a headline and a subheadline style, right? So let's make this is your title here, and then it's by Paul Rand. So let's make this like, you know, nope, maybe not that big. Oh, why is it? Okay. All right. Okay. Ah, that's what's going on. So let's change the letting here to auto for now. All right. And then, so we've got this big headline style, right? Oh, and let's go in here and I'm going to change the actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to upload a new template for this because this is way more messy than I was expecting. I'm going to make everything, but just follow along. Please take notes with what I'm doing so that you can make your own edits. So what I've done is I made everything the starting style that InDesign provides you. So then I'm going to delete the footnotes and I'm going to delete the body style that I made. All right, so we're all wiped clean here. All right.
Do we need to use every bit of like paragraph that is listed here, or do we get to be selective?
No, you're going to lay out all of it. Okay, there we go. Okay. So now, let me go back over here and so what you're going to do is the format of this exists in multiple layouts, will be a series of pages 11 inches wide by 8.5 inches tall, or 8.5 inches wide by 11 inches tall. So it's regular letter sized paper, but it's going to be in a book format, you know, this. So yeah. So okay, so I'm gonna change this template here to first name, last name, problem 3, draft 1. Here, okay, and then I'm gonna go to make it facing pages, like that. And now, do you see how we'll have like our front cover and then our back cover like that? You see how there's like a spine now? Okay, so also I'm gonna clean up these margins where, there we go.
Also, I remember when we were talking about my poster, you said that you wanted to talk to the class about margins for future projects since the last one didn't have margins?
Oh yeah. So yeah, the way that you can edit margins is going to layout margins and columns. So I changed this to 0.5 inches all the way around. And then I can add columns here like this. And then I can adjust the gutter size, the distance between columns. So let's say I'm good with this for now. So I will upload this template here that I'm making right now that everybody can work with. But what we've got is we've got an 8.5 by 11. Right, it's got facing pages turned on. Here are the margins. We've got it didn't even come with the bleed. Okay. All right. So our document's making a little more sense now. So I'll pop in some basic paragraph styles to get you started. But let's make this that active grotesque that I know everybody has turned on on their computers from project 1. We'll do regular here. And then I'm going to take it down to 9 points. And I'm going to bump up that lighting a little bit. Okay. I think that'll be good to get me started. So let's make a paragraph style. I'm just going to call this body copy, whatever you want to call it. So we see my settings here. Now I'm going to put some, when you click this preview on, and then you can put a little bit of space after it. What it'll do, instead of doing a return, you can put just a little bit of, why isn't that going? Ah, there we go. That's why it wasn't doing it. Okay, so way too much spacing, right? We don't need a 1/2 inch between our paragraphs. You see how you can start, like it's a little bit less space than a full return. This space here between paragraphs. So all right, I think I'm good with that for now. All right, and I'm going to delete some of this stuff. Now I want to give a subheadline style. It's a little bigger, stands out a little more. So I'll do like that, right? And then now do you see it's telling me I've got a plus sign over here? So that's there's an error happening. So if I hit option, if I hold option and click it, it's going to make it go back to the paragraph style. But what I'll do is make a new paragraph style and call it subheadline. And you can keep it based on body copy or not. But if it's based on something and you make a change in the base, then that change will trickle down to the that change will then impact the other paragraph style. So then, you know, and then this is the title of the book. So I think I want that even bigger than the subheadline. So I'll make it a little bit bigger here. And, you know, more bold, and I'll make this my title. And I'm not going to base that on anything. Okay. So then, so we've got a direction going here. You know, you might want to treat this list differently. So here, this list goes all the way over here. So I'm going to select these, and I'm going to make a list style. And I'm going to keep it based on body copy, but I'm going to remove all the spacing afterwards. And I'm going to make it bullets, but it doesn't need to be tabbed that far away. But I do want it to kind of indent a little bit from the text. There we go. So I got my list style here applied.
When it has the plus sign, how did you fix it again?
I held Option.
And then you clicked on it?
Yep, just hold Option and click on it. You could probably also right click, and no, it doesn't look like you can.
So you click on the plus sign, I'm guessing?
You click on just this whole, where it's blue here.
Okay,
Um,
and it does equal, oh, I looked it up.
okay. All right, and I need to pull this down a little bit because I'm not getting all my words in there. So there's the list style. Okay. So, yeah, so there's that. And then I would also probably want to go through and make sure I create a footnote style. Remember we had that set up before. So I'm going to go up here to the superscript button you see where I'm at. Hit that. Now it changed it. Now you see it's got the plus sign saying there's something wrong. I'm going to keep that a character style because I want to be able to apply the footnotes within body copy. I don't want them to be mutually exclusive. So footnote. There we go. So now when I select this whole paragraph, it's not giving me a plus sign, right? Because even though this guy right here has deviated. Okay, so then we'll want to keep reading and find our other footnotes. I'll make this a subheadline. We'll get that little footnote right there. So you see how this kind of works, right? Now, if I were to select the whole thing and make it a footnote, it's going to make all of that the superscript, right? Footnote. All right. So the important thing is you're going to need to read through this and understand the different sections because that's going to impact how you lay it out. So please do that. And I'm going to turn off hyphens off of my body copy here. And I'm going to change the color to something gross so that I know y'all will come in here and fix it. Okay. Now, do you see though how my subheadline, do you see that right? I changed it to red, but the subheadline changed, right? And the subheadline is its own style. Well, that's because it's based on body copy. So based on is a little confusing because it like of the hundreds and hundreds of settings you can set up in a paragraph style, if something is if two is based on one and two doesn't specify something like color in this example, and it's based on it, then it'll just automatically inherit that color. So for you all, you might want to just not do that. And then change your color back to black here. Okay, so all right, so we have our first, whoops. So we have our first image reference, A. And I want that to stand out on the page more as something important. So I'm going to make it bold and maybe I'll make it a little smaller. Let's make it like black. There we go. And I'll come over here to character style and call it image reference. And there we go. So here's another reference right here. So your first step is going to be reading through this and just making these kind of edits of like what I'm talking about. Is that making sense? Okay, so I'm going to put these all back in there. Here, I'll put them in the columns where you can see them here. Okay, so we see how it's kind of starting to come together. Ooh, you know what? So that's a full return right there. All right. I'm going to make those image references a different color where we can kind of distinguish what I'm talking about. And all right, so that's a subheadline. This is a subheadline. And I might miss some of these in the template, so it'll be on y'all to, you know, go in here and clean these up. But let's see, we got 5. A, B, image reference, image reference. And then when you go through and do all of this, then you can make universal changes to them. Is that making sense? When you do this kind of planning, one time I had a giant booklet and they had this like shoestring budget. I mean, it's like a 500-page booklet about genocide in Peru, and they had like a real shoestring budget. It was a nonprofit, and I set up the paragraph styles, and they came up later and was like, hey, we need to make this, the headlines a little bit bigger, you know, somebody important complained. And instead of having to go through all 500 pages and adjust the headline sizes, I was able to just come up here to paragraph style and go 1 point bigger, and then it all flowed throughout the document. So is that making sense? Like where you can make universal changes this way. So when you're in critique and somebody's like, I can't read your image references, now that's not as much of a problem when you do this kind of planning here. There's
So for universal, you double click on the actual style and then change it from there.
So what you would do, let's say here, let me get to this one. Here's a reference, and then here's an image reference. So what I would do is, like, say I didn't like that blue, I would go in here to image reference and change it. And now they're all green.
Okay.
You see that? So you don't have to go like tediously through everything.
Mhm.
Or,
Okay.
or I wanted to come in here and make it black italic. See how it's italicized now?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then grid system, that's a headline. This is an image reference. Headline. Okay, we missed a reference in there somewhere. We've got 10. Where's 11? Oh, there it is. There's 11. Okay, we're good. So here's 12. Here's an image reference. Okay, looks like I'm almost through this. Joseph Albert, good one to know about color. Oops. There we go. So then footnote, what was the last footnote that we had? Was that 12? Yeah, so 12, 13. Let's see, JK. Subheadline, image reference, Picasso, subheadline, image reference here. All right, we got a headline, subheadline. I mean, what was our last? Here, I'm going to go into our footnotes and make it ugly so that y'all change it. What was our last one? Yeah, 13. There we go. I'll make it bold too. Okay. So we're coming together a little more now. Image reference, subheadline. So as you're reading through this, you'll want to start thinking about like how you want to organize stuff on the page. What makes sense to you? As if, you know, this was going to be a book that you're publishing for Paul Rand. There's an image reference. Image reference, citation. All right. All right, I think that's it. So then, we would need to give these references a style because they're a list, right? So you can make them a list by doing our previous list style, right? But they're numbered and we want them to correspond with other numbers, right? In the text. Right now the numbers are written in there, but let's go in here and make a new paragraph style. We'll call this numbers. And I'm going to go in here and tell it to do numbers. And I don't want it based off of anything. And it looks like I'm going to need to clean this up a little bit. There we go. And then I'll need to go in and delete these. Because we already have them now, right? All right, there we go. So now, like, as we're planning, we probably want yeah, so you can you know, do the column things that I was talking. Why is this not okay? Let's see. All right. Okay. Geez, this template was messy. Glad I looked at it. All right. So, you know, you're probably going to put your title on the cover, right? And, you know, you'll probably for some pages, you want to use your columns. Maybe not all of them. That's going to be up to you to rationalize. Oops, missed this headline here. All right. All right. And here we go. Oh, geez. Okay. All right. Okay. So we see how it's kind of starting to come together now, right? And I've made a lot of these things ugly, so I want you to go in there and clean them up. Where did number 13 go? Is that up here? 14. So a lot of like this kind of layout work, like you're just scanning to make sure everything is organized correctly, and then picking a layout that you think works best. Where did the 13th reference go? Was it up here? Okay, yep, there it is. All right. So we've got all our stuff in here, right? And you know, you come to the section that's going to be talking about, let's say, J. So you would go to File, Place, and then you would find your J. You got some J options here. So you can grab all of them if you hold Shift. And then you would pop them in here, right? And then you want to start styling, like where you're moving your text around and you're moving your images around on the page. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna upload this cleaned up template because this was poorly constructed. And I think it makes a little more sense now. All right. And okay. Oops. All right. I'll upload that to this page. But are there any questions on that right now? Okay, so watch through all this stuff, and I'm going to put the new template up here now. Let's see. Okay. So the new template is up. First name, last name, P3D1. So then what you want to do is read through these notes, the problem's purpose, the problem details, the problem most important, and then have this, and then there's 2 references there, like 2 examples of past work. And yeah. So is there any other questions before we end?
I have 2, but not related to the project. Oh, well, in a way. As a graphic designer, my InDesign, we have like different mode.
Mm-hmm.
One which you prefer us to work in will be kind of
Oh.
easier to touch.
What's that?
Like there's like advanced and there's book
Mm-hmm.
and there's all that stuff. I don't know which one to work with in a way.
I don't have any rep, right? Usually I just do my own, like I get whatever windows I typically use and I save out my own. But yeah, I've never liked those very much. But it's really kind of your personal preference of what windows you like working with.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other one is, what is the objective of this project as a whole? Like, are we advertising something?
Yeah, let's look here. Let's go ahead and go through this. So can you wait? Can you see my screen? Okay, so problem purpose, using the text and images supplied and any other appropriate illustrations, either found or created, create a design which illuminates the principles expressed in the text. So first thing is you're gonna have to read the text and understand it. And then through your layout, color choices, type choices, all of that stuff, you want to communicate what Paul Rand is trying to communicate to students. Give your design a context by positing a target audience, say novice designers, children, or lay people, for example. So you're using, like, you get to pick your target audience. I'm going to design this for kids and help them understand why Picasso's work was important, why, you know, why the tangram is so important for creativity. The whole document is all about Paul Rand trying to point out that, so the name of the, let me pull it up here. The name of the piece is Design and the Play Instinct. So throughout the whole document, he's talking about playfulness, different ways of being playful within design and art. And but for all of them, there are always rules. Like it's a you're given the rules and then you get to play within those rules. So where are we at? Over here. So yeah, you'll be teaching your target audience about that playfulness in the text. Some of the issues that will be discussed in the course of this investigation will be the grid, paragraphing, leading, rag, dynamic composition, integration of text and images, continuity of design. So here's your details. Read all the text and ensure that you can answer questions about Paul Rand's work. For example, what's a photogram? I did this project last semester with more advanced steps for students. And I didn't know what a photogram was. I've never done it. So if you come across something in the text that you don't understand, look it up. And maybe you include that information in your design. You could say like, hey, here's an example of a photogram. And here's a definition, because I feel like Paul Rand didn't do a very good job defining it. You're looking for these opportunities of helping improve the text. So, you know, check out Paul Rand's site here. It may be useful for you to read chapter 8 of this Elements of Typographic Style. Leave the first single right-hand page blank So that's the one I already did this for you here. So that's our cover. Each idea should begin with an opening 2 pages, page spread, left and right, containing the title and the author, 1 to 2 paragraphs of the text will with any appropriate imagery you choose. So so those are for like when we're concepting early for the first draft, we're going to just be showing some layout concepts. So it's not going to be the full book. So so for this draft, each idea should be with an opening 2-page spread, left and right, containing the title and the author, 1 to 2 paragraphs of text with the appropriate imagery you choose. This should be followed by a second and third 2-page spread with an appropriate amount of text and images to demonstrate your visual theme and how you will be using your grid for the rest of the book. The format for this exercise, multi-page layout, will be a series of pages 11 inches by 8.5 inches tall or 8.5 inches wide by 11 inches tall. When opening a new document for this exercise, you should make sure to choose facing pages in the new document dialog box. I've already done that for you. Package your InDesign files. I'm going to change that to just a PDF. Okay. Let's see. Name the folder, zip folder, PDF, and InDesign file. This first name, last name. Make sure your PDF is exported with spreads on and with marks and bleeds turned off. Upload the PDF to this assignment page. So most importantly, you must create 2 completely different compositions for each draft. Think, the difference between death metal and church choir, difference between rural Kansas and Beverly Hills, the difference between pesticides and organics. Like these are different ideas. That means for each idea, you have 6 pages, 12 total. So 6 pages per idea, 12 pages total. So that's what we'll be working towards with this. It's not going to be the complete book, but you're just going to be hitting on. These. Let's see. Per position. I'm going to delete that. That's not important. Each idea should begin with an opening 2 pages, page spread, left and right, containing the title and the author, 1 to 2 pages of text with any appropriate imagery of your choice. This should be followed by a second and third page spread with an appropriate amount of text and imagery to demonstrate your visual theme. Okay, so.
Just so you know, you still have the zip folder and InDesign, like on the name the folder and zip folder. If you go up, it's just in the writing. You still have it.
Oh yeah. So I want you to name all that stuff, like the folder. Well, I'll delete the zip folder. I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the folder, the PDF, the InDesign file, all of that should have the same name.
Okay.
And then you'll just upload a PDF.
Gotcha.
But okay. So hopefully that makes a little more sense now. But what you'll be turning in is sort of excerpts, right, from the entire book of just hitting on these excerpts here. But then two like very distinct ideas that we'll pick a direction and go forward with. Does that make sense? All right, any questions on that? Okay, just read through it. Again, watch all those videos, get started on all that stuff. The new template is up. So yeah, y'all should have a lot of resources there and a lot of freedom to pick your target audience and things like that. Okay, so yeah, I think one of your big things is going to be making sure that you understand what it is that Paul Rand was talking about. This document's pretty old. So we don't use photograms anymore, really, but you can find photogram paper if you're interested. All right, cool. All right, if there's not anything else, we're good to go. All right, we'll see y'all.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.